Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Vinny Costa, editor of Street Muscle Magazine and your host of the RodCAST, the all-encompassing car show where we talk about all things automotive. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Greg Costa, editor of Engine Labs and the all-around tech guru. What's going on, Greg?
Yo.
I want to take a quick moment and thank our title sponsor. That's Lucas Oil. Everybody at home, go ahead and check out lucasoil.com for all of your lubricant needs.
And I guarantee you, even if you think you don't know Lucas, you know Lucas because you know the little cranky thing in every single auto parts store ever. And
so I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, just so you know, you can buy those.
Yeah. So my very first job, my very first job that I had to fill out a tax form for was
your first not under the table job.
Yeah. Was working at Craig Auto Parts, and I was like 15 or 16, and we had one of those, and like whenever it was slow in the store, I would always find myself like playing with it at the the parts counter. But so Lucas Oil has been ingrained in my mind since then, and I've been a loyal customer of theirs, from their fuel additives to their gear oil, just even engine oil, any kind of lubricant. I always gravitate towards their products. But anyways, we have a very, very fun episode today, Greg. As you know, we've been doing a couple similar episodes for the past two. We had Rob Finkelman on for the last one, and then it was just you and I for the first one. We did some like virtual building of cars. The first one was the Mustang Mach 1, and the second one was the Dodge Challenger at 392 Scat Pack. So since you're a big Ford guy, the Mustang was kind of in your wheelhouse. Rob is a big Mopar guy, and I'm a big Chevy guy. So it speaks to reason that we kind of wrap up this three-part series or matchup with the Camaro. And so we'll be doing that again today with Rob. And before we get into that, we'll talk to him about some of the articles that he's written. But I'm really looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, it should be fun. I'm just wondering, where do we go once this is done? Because, like when you finish a book and you're like, damn it, I want another one. Like, where do we go? Like, what do we start looking at next?
The RodCAST fans have been chiming in and telling us that they like these episodes. We see you guys in the comment section. So if you guys like what you see, definitely leave a comment in the comment section, because that gives us an indicator on what we should be doing, what we shouldn't be doing. If you don't like something, tell us that too. We got some thick skin. But anyways, they've been telling us that they like us. So maybe after we finish with this whole muscle car thing, we might do trucks. I mean, there's something like the Trail Boss and the TRX and the Ford Raptor. There's SUVs. There's no shortage of cars that we can build on these. What are they called, Greg?
Configurators.
Configurator. Thank you. So we can do whatever you guys are into. If you guys, even if they're not domestic, I mean, if you guys like the new Supra, let us know. We'll go online and we'll build that.
It's funny you say that, because I've been thinking about the new Z.
Those are cool, dude. Are they on Nissan's configurator yet?
I don't think so. I haven't looked.
Yeah, because those aren't even available for purchase yet. So
no, but I do think that, I mean, because we've been talking a lot about handling in these builds.
So we've been comparing them, right? And so far the focus has been on value, right? So what you get for the money. And I'm not saying that that's the only deciding factor, because there are many factors to consider when you're looking at these three particular cars, right? And we'll get into it when we start talking to Rob, because we all have our personal bias, right? Like I mentioned, I'm a Chevy guy, you're a Ford guy, Rob happens to be a Mopar guy. So that's the second kind of emotional choices that you end up making. So we have to put that aside and look at it pragmatically and decide which is the best value. And that's kind of what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So if we start looking at other makes and models, especially imports of the Japanese variety, I'd be interested to see where they stack up, right? Because first, I mean, just because I mentioned Supra and you look at Toyota, I already know that it's going to be an expensive car. And then I would want to know what kind of performance do you get for that money versus what kind of performance do you get for something that's in the, comparable price range and performance range.
Yeah, because I mean, after what we've done with the Challenger and the Mach 1, I feel like if we were trying, we could get a Supra into that range.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But that's where, okay, so that's exactly what I'm getting at, right? Like, so the handling and stuff might be on par with the other two. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% familiar with the Supra and what it can do, like around a Nürburgring or something. But I know that the power levels are far less than its American contemporaries.
Yeah, so I mean, it would be interesting, and I think to do that stuff, we would need a legitimate modern import like authority on.
Well, yeah, maybe we need to look at bringing somebody on and doing the same thing that we're doing with Rob.
Yeah, because like I have not been deep into the import stuff for.
I would love to do a shootout, like an import shootout, where we look at we're doing the same thing, right? Best value, where we might look at something like the Supra and maybe like a BMW versus like, I don't know, like a Kia Stinger or something, right?
Yeah, or Genesis or,
there you go.
BRZs. And I mean,
yeah, those are better comparisons, but
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
so everybody at home, let us know, like, what you guys want to see whenever we make that next move. Do you guys want to see trucks? Do you guys want to see import cars? Let us know. SUVs, even if you make us, I guess.
Performance SUVs, like, are there performance SUVs?
All right, but I'm gonna make you configure the Mach E.
All right, we're going to a break. Here's a word from our sponsor.
By designing, engineering, and building the most powerful, reliable, and advanced centrifugal superchargers on the market, ProCharger has been the industry's leading aftermarket supercharger manufacturer for 25 years. No matter if you're looking for 3,500 plus horsepower for a record-setting Pro Mod, or looking for a DIY system for your street car, truck, or motorcycle, ProCharger has the perfect supercharger system for you. For more information on all the amazing ways you can bolt on 40, 50, 60, or even 100% more power to your ride, visit procharger.com. Rob Finkelman, everyone. What's going on, dude? Welcome back.
My boys. Good to see you.
Hi, Rob.
Too, man.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm just, hanging out, chilling. Good to be
cool,
back.
Man.
Yeah.
We're glad to have you. So as you know, this is like the third part of a series that we've kind of been doing. You were a part of the last one where we built out a Mopar. First time we built out excuse me, help me out here, Greg. A Mach 1, excuse me. We built out a Mach 1 Mustang. That's right. Well, that happened kind of organically, if you will. But we corrected that and we brought you back for the second part when we built a Scat Pack 392 wide body. And now
it's funny because I just I was on Instagram today and I guess do you handle the Instagram stuff or just
so we all have a little bit of a hand. Yeah,
I rewatched the clip and it was precisely that clip of you and I going at it about wide body versus non-wide body.
Well, let's be honest. It was basically you schooling Vinny.
Oh wow! Yeah, here we go again.
Yeah,
because we definitely made the case for no wide
Greg,
body.
I love him too much to put it into those words. But now that you have, I guess there's no arguing. Yes.
All right. So if you're just tuning in, everybody at home, this is not an echo chamber. We don't all agree on the same exact things. We like the same stuff, but there are some disagreements, and that happened to be one. If you haven't checked it out, go back to the Street Muscle Magazine Facebook or YouTube channel and check out what we're talking about, where we have a little bit of a disagreement. It's all in good fun. But today is my time to shine. Because we get to handle the Chevy portion of that three-part shootout, where we kind of like, I don't know what we guys say, like see what's the best value when we're comparing like that middle of the pack performance car from each.
Are we going to do like a Mach 1 build, like a Mach 1 Scat Pack? Are we going to go with that same?
Well, yeah. So box? Rob and I were talking about that offline. So We did the Mach 1, then we did the Scat Pack. So this time we should probably do an SS 1LE. Is that comparable?
That's yeah. The question is it a 1SS or a 2SS?
It has to be. It has to be 2SS, I think, okay. Right? Because the Scat Pack is like
the Scat Pack Widebody is the highest performance supercharged, so non-SRT product. So, and the Mach 1 is pretty much the highest performance non-Shelby. So it stands to reason we should do the 2SS being the highest non-supercharged, non-ZL1 Camaro.
Exactly. And then you throw the 1LE in.
1LE.
The 1LE is like the performance package. We'll get into all that. But before we do, guys, Rob, just like our last episode, I also wanted to talk to you about one of your recent articles that we published on Street Muscle, because I know, on Facebook and on just the website in general, you have a huge amount of fans that love your columns. So I want to take a moment to just talk about one of your columns. The last one we published was an edition of Rare Rides, and I'll just let you kind of launch into it.
Yeah, one of my earliest memories, and it just goes to show you, I was born to be a gearhead, because my earliest memory could have been of anything in the world, but it just happens to involve a car. And I couldn't have been more than like 2 or 3 years old at the most, because my mom was pushing me in a stroller, and we were on the east side of Manhattan, New York City, and where I grew up. And we had a neighborhood bakery where they used to bake these huge black and white cookies. You remember black and white?
Yeah, like on Seinfeld.
Yeah, exactly. Half black, half chocolate, half white icing, or whatever the hell it was. And there in front of the bakery was, I think it was called April Green Metallic, which is basically pea soup with flecks of metal in it. Plymouth Satellite is 71, with the outrageous grill, the quote unquote fuselage styling, which is what Plymouth called it. And it just made such an impression on me because the sun was hitting it, and it was like this blaring bowl of pea soup with a chrome grill on it, that it just, how when you're a kid, like colors, can sort of get burned into your memory. And that's how it stuck with me. And ever since then, I always had a soft spot in my heart for that body style, which covered 3 cars, as a matter of fact: the Satellite, which was kind of the low end, the Roadrunner, which was the low cost performance version of the Satellite, and then the GTX, which was kind of the luxury performance version, all based on the same chassis, same body styling and stuff like that, with the only differences being the drivetrain and the appointments on the interior. And
when I imagine that scene, Rob, I imagine like a car commercial, right? Like the car cruising by, like nice and slow. You're maybe in front of like a mirrored building. Your mom's pushing you in like a stroller with big wheels, and all of a sudden you see Rob's head kind of like peek out and just.
It was pretty much like that. It just stuck with me. I mean, that was probably it was probably a new car when that happened, because I was born in '69, and if I was being pushed in a stroller, I couldn't have been more than 2 years old. So you're talking 71, maybe 72. So it was a brand new car. It was just the color. It just hit me. And then years later, when I started getting into muscle cars in my 20s, late teens, early 20s, I would go through magazines and stuff, and I rediscovered, I was like, holy cow, that's the car that I remembered from my childhood.
Well, the one that you remembered from your childhood, and I'm sure you'll touch on it, that one turned out to be a pretty rare car, right?
Well, that was a Satellite. So, I mean, satellites aren't really treasured today. If it was a GTX, yeah, because as we're about to get into the article, Rare Rides, there is a very rare version of the car we're talking about, and it only existed for one model year, and it was the 1971 GTX with a 426 Hemi in it, and they made 30 of them. And primarily because the GTX was a very expensive car to begin with, because it was the quote unquote luxury version of that body style, and the B body. And when you would add a Hemi to it, it would nearly double the price of the car. And in those days, like performance muscle cars like Challengers, Cudas, especially Mopar muscle cars, they didn't attract wealthy people. Wealthy people were more interested in traditional sports cars, you know, Porsches, Ferraris, whatever, Corvettes. But, you know, it was mostly younger people, and it was mostly hot rodders. And if you were going to double the price of the car on someone, that would just automatically like weed out your core market, which is kind of a weird thing. And so there were plenty of GTXs in 71 that had 440s, which was very close in performance.
Yeah, you discussed that quite a bit in the article, right? Like how they were almost like cannibalizing sales, and so was that the reason that they started eliminating certain?
Yeah, and it's ultimately the reason why that version of the GTX, which and Satellite and Roadrunner, all sharing that body style, failed. They really cannibalized their own sales, and the GTX got reduced to being a trim package for the Roadrunner thereafter. And, you know, and then by, I think, 74 disappeared altogether. It was just done.
Rob, for, because the GTX nomenclature and, you know, the Satellite and the Roadrunner, they were around for like a little while. What was the deal with all the names? Like, the Roadrunner at the time, like, well, I'll let you answer before I.
Yeah, it's often confusing to people because all of those cars shared the same body style. Every generation, they looked exactly the same. So you know, when you're talking about a GTX or a Roadrunner or a Satellite or a Belvedere, they all look the same except for trim and what's under the hood, pretty much. And I can't really account for why Plymouth always did it that way, but it started with the Belvedere in the 50s, which was originally a trim line of the, oh dear, what was the car called? The Plymouth, wow, I'm having like,
I know this.
It was the Plymouth.
We'll have to Google it.
It's like Plymouth, like
I was thinking something else.
Cranberry or something, but it's not Cranberry. But
I
anyway,
just have the Mr. Belvedere theme running through.
If you guys know the answer, drop the answer in the comment section below.
And send me an email and tell me what a dope I am for being an automotive journalist and for getting something like this. But anyway, the Belvedere is really the genesis of all of these cars, and it began as a trim line in the 50s, and then it became so popular that Plymouth made it its own distinct model in their lineup. And as time wore on, they realized they wanted to do performance versions of the Belvedere. So they started doing trim lines under the Belvedere name that represented different levels of performance and or luxury. And out of that came the Roadrunner, which was aimed at a very low price performance car. You could basically get the same drivetrain that you had in a GTX in a Roadrunner and spend a couple $1,000s less because it had crappy, you know, cloth seats instead of coming, you know, with leather or at least vinyl standard. And the Roadrunner never had all the options like for power accessories and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, just the name alone and like the logos and everything, you just look at who they were marketing to, right? It's a cartoon.
Yeah,
I mean,
cartoon. Yeah, they were aiming for hot rodders, and I'm not sure. My point being is, I'm not sure who the GTX was aimed at, because here was a car that came standard with a 440 Super Commando. The only two optional engines in it were the 440 six-pack and the Hemi. And yet you could get that car with power, everything, air conditioning. Well, not on the Hemi, but you could get air conditioning. You could get all these niceties that no one in their right mind who wanted to go fast would add to a car, because it's heavy. All of that stuff adds weight. So it makes sense when you realize that the GTX was ultimately just a failure, and that of the two trim levels of the Belvedere, the Roadrunner was the successful one, because if you want to go fast, make it simple, make it light, make it cheap. And people ate Roadrunners up. And that's why today, if you take let's say a 70, 69, 70, 71 Roadrunner, any of those cars, and put it against an equivalent condition GTX, the GTX is going to fetch a whole hell of a lot more money at auction, let's say, even if the drivetrain's exactly the same on both cars, because they made tons of Roadrunners and sold tons of Roadrunners, but they couldn't give GTXs away. So they're a much rarer car now.
it's interesting because like when you examine the other manufacturers, right, of the big three, they all kind of do similar things, like especially GM, right? GM has like multiple brands and they all share a chassis, and they make design changes on the exterior, but underneath they're all similar.
Yeah.
But Chrysler is unique in that way, right? So they don't do that, and that like all three of those share the same platform, but the styling is essentially the same. It's just like they have different names, but it's the name of the package, right? It's kind of weird.
They were essentially trim levels of the same car, but by 1971, they were bespoke, separate models in the lineup that all shared the same body. And that's weird to me. I mean,
Exactly, yeah.
I could understand if in 70, 71, if it was still a Belvedere, which it wasn't, because they had gotten rid of the Belvedere name.
Well, GTX sounds so much cooler.
Yeah. If it was all a Belvedere and the Satellite was your low-end trim and your Roadrunner was your mid-level trim and your GTX was your high-level trim, I could understand all three of those cars looking the same. But that's not the case. They were literally three separate models that had trim levels underneath them. It was a very weird thing to do. Even in cases like when Mopar would share a drivetrain and a chassis across brands. Like, let's talk about the E-body cars of 77 through 74. You had the Challenger for Dodge and the Plymouth and the Cuda for Plymouth. They were essentially the same exact car mechanically. The wheelbase was a little different. The overall length of the car was different. But under the skin, it was the same exact engines offered, the same exact differentials, the same transmissions, yet they were called something completely different.
Right. But the Cuda was just much better, right?
They just look.
But we've seen that. We've seen that in a lot of cars before and since.
Well, that was my point.
Not this weird Dodge. We're gonna make the exact same car with three different names.
And that's largely why it didn't work out for them, right? I mean, they were trying something new. I don't know.
GTX went the way of the dodo, as I said. After
what does GTX stand for, by the way, Rob? Do you know?
Nothing.
It just sounds cool.
Sounds cool.
Grand Touring Extreme.
Extreme. No, it doesn't. As far as I know, it doesn't stand for anything. The Roadrunner obviously was named after the cartoon, and as most people know, Plymouth had to license from Warner Brothers the name and the logos that appeared, because those were trademark characters of
The beep beep.
Yeah, of Warner Brothers, and even the horn, they had to pay for that because they made the horn sound like the Roadrunner sound.
Rob, you are a good person to ask, but
I'm not a good person. I'm a good person to ask.
Oh, okay, all right. We need to make that distinction.
Don't let the secret out.
I'm an awful person.
No. Okay, so like people might know the story of like how the GTO Judge got its name, right? Like we can talk about that another time. But since we're talking about the Roadrunner right now, how did that whole thing happen? Do you know? Like the
Roadrunner was pretty much the most popular cartoon on television, and someone got the bright idea in the marketing department at Chrysler that we should. It just was kind of, it probably made sense back then. It doesn't make sense to us now, but you got to remember everybody was like dropping acid then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it was like, it seems real kitschy now, but like when you look at their advertisements, like all the rapid transit unit stuff, you look at those advertisements, it's like crazy psychedelic colors and patterns and designs. I mean, just look at the mod top cars. So that's kind of where their mindset was, and that's what I figured. I just didn't know if there was a unique story like in, say, the Judge.
It was a marketing decision that paid off. I'm sure it made crystal sense back then. It just seems weird now, but as you said, is it any weirder than Pontiac naming a car after a line in a television show?
Even more obscure.
It was like, why would you do that? But I think pop culture really started in the 60s, in the sense that, like, with rock and roll and television really coming of age in the 60s, you started having color TVs being common, and there were shows like Laugh-In and the Smothers Brothers and stuff. People started to become aware of American pop culture as a unique thing. And I think the car companies were just trying to tap into that, there's a famous picture of Janis Joplin in Haight-Ashbury, and she
love that picture.
The fender of her Porsche Speedster, and she had it painted all these psychedelic swirls and colors and stuff like that. And that picture was burned into youth generation people of that time. Here's Janis. She bought an icon of like capitalist consumer, throwing lots of money, and she turned it into a psychedelic thing, that it became relatable to youth culture. And it's most likely, they just thought, who doesn't love the Roadrunner? And it was, we'll just call it.
I agree, man. In that same vein of thought, not that I'm comparing the two, but Billie Eilish has a really badass Challenger, just FYI.
You got to say her name right. According to Rainn Wilson, it's William Eyelash.
Oh gosh.
Wow. I'm learning.
No, that's not how you say it, Rob.
it is, man. Rainn Wilson said it, so it has to be true.
All right.
To be true. Yeah. Anyway, to wrap. Yeah,
I was going to say, for the people who are still like wondering what we were talking about, that whole Judge thing. So you mentioned Laugh-In. Sammy Davis Jr. had a line in that show and where he said, "Here comes the Judge," and they decided to make a whole car out of it.
I'm not going to lie. That is one of the most disappointing stories. When I heard that, that's what the Judge came from. Yeah. I mean, in my head, my generation, I'm thinking Judge Dredd, like some really badass. No, it's a line from.
What would make sense? I mean, like, as a car guy, you would hope it stood for like, this is the judge that's going to mete out street justice.
Yeah,
This is the car that's going to punish the pretenders.
Not some like campy, funny like 70s comedy.
None of that is true. It's a line from the TV show, which is just bizarre. But
can you imagine having a
people
Family
were
Guy
taking
car?
a lot of drugs back then, so who knows?
Well, hey, listen, guys. This has been fun. Rob, I don't want to cut you short, but I will send people over to streetmusclemagazine.com, streetmusclemag.com. Check out Rob's latest article, Rare Rides, and so head over to our Facebook because it's posted there, and head over to his Facebook and, check out everything that he's posting.
Should we mention the fact of who picked up that article?
That's right. Yeah. You can also check it out on dodgegarage.com. It was picked up by our friends over there who we happen to work with. And so go check it out over there. Rob, you do a fantastic job of like promoting your articles, so much so that they actually became aware of it and they started sharing your stuff, which is fantastic. We love. But I know that you also share a lot of your stuff like in different groups. Where can people see your stuff? And
if you belong to just about any muscle car group on Facebook, I'm probably a member of that group, and I post my articles regularly. If it's a general muscle car group, it'll be there. And then I also will post it, like if it's an article about the GTX, it'll go into a lot of GTX specific groups. And I find that it's a great way to share the article with people. It's how many of the people who read my stuff have told me they first discovered my articles, and it generates a lot of discussion, banter about the article, about the car. People share. They comment and share their personal ownership experience.
You're like, credit, you're very active in the comment section, even just on the website on streetmusclemag.com.
I like to interact with the readers. I gotta be honest with you. When someone says I gave up 15 minutes of my life to read a pretty in-depth, lengthy article, that means something to me. I mean,
for sure,
it's sharing this culture of cars that's very important to all three of us here. It's like going to car shows, like seeing the actual cars is only half the fun. Like when you go to a vintage car show, the other half is meeting people and running into friends of yours and meeting new people and them sharing with you their stories of ownership and things.
Well, whether you like it or not, you are an expert in the arena, and so people are going to have questions, and they're also going to criticize you if you get something wrong.
Absolutely. And that's an easy thing to do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When you're dealing, especially with the Rare Rides column, when you're dealing with cars where there were like 2 made, 10 made, 30 made, it's very easy to get something wrong. And unfortunately, 1 or 2 times something slipped in that was a little incorrect, but we're always careful to fix it.
That's what I love about the fan base is that like they'll either call you out, which is like, sometimes they're not the nicest about it, but some people are, right? Like either way, we're going to get to the bottom of it, right? And find out the real answer, because then we got to go do some homework and it's like, okay, they were right, or no, they're wrong.
Yeah. I mean, one of the hardest things to do when I'm researching those articles and I'm just combing every corner of the internet to figure out what differential, was available if you got this package or that package. The worst is when you have differing accounts.
Yeah.
And half the websites I visit said, no, you could not get a Dana 60 on that car. And the other half said, oh, it came with the Dana 60, and you have to really do your homework to figure out who's right. And more than once, it's ended up an email to like Chrysler customer, public relations and stuff to get an answer from the factory.
That's actually what I wanted to get to, right? Like, so in this quest for reporting accurate information, you have become an expert, right? Who people look to. And you were telling me a pretty interesting story about a guy who recently emailed you and was asking you about something that you had previously written about. How'd that
Yeah.
go?
Well, here's the interesting thing. It had to do with an article that I wrote I think it was about 3 years ago. It was a rare rides on the 1969 Corvette ZR1, the original one that had an aluminum Ford Racing
So cool.
427 in it, and they only made 3 of them. It was an incredibly expensive option to have that aluminum block 427 engine in it, because it was literally lifted from Chevrolet race cars at the time and just plopped right into a street car. And it was fully street legal on top of it. And the car weighed next to nothing and was putting out like 500 horsepower. And it's arguably, I mean, most people don't consider a Corvette a muscle car. It's a sports car, but really there was nothing on the street in 1968 that could beat that 69 model year ZL1, but no one bought them because it turned a $3,000 car into a $9,000 car, and they only managed to sell 3 of them. 2 of them are accounted for and are shown. And there's one, that's always sort of been rumored. Did they actually build a 3rd one? Or, it's unclear. The factory records don't specify a 3rd one being built, but it's just always been the story that there were 3 ZR1s. And so I wrote this article, Rare Rides, about the car about 3 years ago. And just last week, a guy emails me from Johannesburg, South Africa. And he said, for a couple of years now, every day when I drive to work, I see this rusted out Corvette with a for sale sign on the windshield in someone's front lawn. And I never paid much attention to it. And then just the other day, I had time to kill and I got out of my car and I looked under the hood, and it had this massive, massive block under the hood that I didn't even recognize. It didn't look anything familiar to me, and I know Corvettes. And then just coincidentally, I came across your article because I started searching around for what this might be. And I found your article on the ZR1, the 69, and I think this might be the 3rd car. How do I verify this? And I might be an so-called expert on some things, but verifying a car like that is above my pay grade. So I instantly said to him, well, first of all, you need to take down the VIN number of the car. And I gave him an email address that I happen to have for a special department of Chevrolet's Consumer Affairs Division, where in the past, like I said, I've gotten the facts straight direct from the factory when I was unsure about something. And I gave him that email and I said to him, now email them that VIN number and they will be able to tell you exactly how that car left the factory. And I said, I wouldn't get my hopes up because your chances of having hit upon the fabled 3rd ZL1 in South Africa, of all places, are probably nil to none. But if it is that car, I get the story. I get
rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm helping you out here, so in return, I definitely
imagine that, dude. Good Lord.
Now we're gonna have a bunch of people flocking down to. I feel like maybe we should beep the locations. For every Corvette in South Africa.
In South Africa.
Yeah, well, there's got to be like only a handful, anyways. But
how many 69 Corvettes could there possibly be in Johannesburg? So.
Yeah, I don't imagine very
many. But it's amazing to me. What really stood out in my head beyond just that this guy thinks it might be, an aluminum 427 racing block under the hood of this car, is the fact that he connected with me. You know, he's 10,000 miles away, and yet this call it a hobby or a passion or an obsession that we all have can bring people together from all corners of the world. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
It's definitely cool, man. Like, I mean, think about it. Just the past 3 episodes that we've done, right? Or including this one.
Yeah.
So we all love muscle cars and stuff. The first episode we were focusing on Mustang. Greg is a huge Mustang guy, right? He owns multiple Mustangs, and I mean, he's wearing a Mustang hat. The second episode, we were talking about a Challenger, and you're a big Mopar guy. You own a Challenger. And now this third episode, which we're about to launch into, we're going to talk about building a Camaro, and I'm a big Chevy guy. I own a Camaro. So that's like why Greg and I had started this show, is because, you know, we know that not everybody's going to fall into those 3 categories. So we want to do something that was like all encompassing in the automotive realm. So we talk about all kinds of stuff, right? Like even when we're not talking about muscle cars, we talk about, you know, electric cars, and we've had episodes about off-road vehicles. And so to your point, we kind of like it all, but you know, this just happens to be an episode where we get to talk about muscle cars. And so you're here, Rob. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's, you know, all the memes on social media and stuff where, you know, if it's a Dodge group, they're crapping on Fords, you know, there's some found on roadside dead jokes or whatever, you know, when it comes down to it, you know, car guys are car guys, and I respect and enjoy, you know, even though I'm a Mopar guy, I build Mustangs online, I've built Camaros online, and, you know, I love cars, I love muscle cars. And yeah, so I think it's fun, and I think it's cool how all 3 of us are able to bring our own knowledge base about, you know, one of the big 3 muscle cars do this. And now it's your turn. So
yeah, man, I'm excited. Before we launch into it, let's take a quick break and have a word from one of our sponsors. Motor oils and additives are the 2 most important pillars of the German company Liqui-Moly. Beyond that, the company sells service products, car care, greases, pastes, underbody protection, and windscreen adhesives. They also offer the tools and equipment required to use those products effectively. There are a total of more than 4,000 items, which make Liqui-Moly a globally unique, full-range retailer for automotive chemicals. Along with cars, Liqui-Moly also has its own product range for motorcycles and bicycles, for commercial vehicles and construction machines, for garden devices and industrial applications, as well as for boats and small aircraft. In order to ensure the consistently high quality of its products, Liqui-Moly produces its oils and additives exclusively in Germany. So, if you want to check out the high quality products of Liqui-Moly, go to liquimoly.com. That's LIQUI-MOLY.com. And we're back. So we get to build a Chevy this time, guys. I'm excited.
Yep. Let me pull up our configurator here.
You know, I gotta say, out of the 3 configurators, do you want to talk just for a brief second about the configurators themselves?
Yeah, they're cool, dude.
Yeah, I gotta say though that out of the big 3 here, Ford has the best configurator. And
I did like it better than the Dodge configurator.
Because every change you make to the packages changes, absolutely every single time changes the photograph of the car. So yeah,
and there were a few hiccups when we did the Dodge.
There were a few hiccups when you did the Dodge. Also, the Mustang, on the Mustang builder, the picture of the car itself is big. It spans your entire screen, whereas Dodge, it's a little smaller. And I'm afraid, Vinny, that in my mind, Chevy's the worst configurator of all, because you're about to see the picture of the car is really small, and it doesn't always reflect the changes on trim that you make.
Okay, well, I can live with that. I mean, honestly, I love Chevy as a brand, and I love their products. But you know, not every decision that they make is my favorite. I'll just say that.
There you go. We can agree.
It's no blind loyalty. It's loyalty.
Right.
Okay, so like we talked, you're right, Greg. Like we talked about in the beginning, though, we are trying to compare apples to apples. So we started with the Mach, then we did the Scat
You
Pack
got to
Widebody.
specify Mach 1, man. Ford has messed it up. You can't just say Mach anymore, man.
Yeah, we were talking about that just.
You got to say Mach 1. You got to specify.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying.
Ugh, I've seen a few on the road, and I mean, it's not a bad car. It's just don't call it a Mustang.
Don't call it a Mustang, please.
You guys can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did good. Mach 1, then Scat Pack. Now is SS 1LE.
All right. So let's go to Camaro, obviously. Now, I'm not going to lie. I haven't been on this site very much before.
Build and price is to your right.
There we go.
And we do want to do a 2021, right? It's not like the 2020 had some. Okay.
Correct, because the other car, well, I wasn't there for the Mach 1, but that's a 2021, and the Scat.
Everyone hated the updated styling of the 2020, 2021, and I love it.
The Camaro?
Yeah, that front. No, people hated this front fascia.
It's the best looking generation they've done since they.
Not the 6th gen, but just the refresh. So
what was the refresh? The front fascia, the bumper?
Yeah, so the front fascia and the taillights.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think the taillights of this gen are the best.
Yeah, I agree.
They're cool.
I like the front. I like the front fascia. I'm iffy on the rear. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
a little bit iffy. I'm not out by any means.
2016 to 2019, I believe, had the other front end, which I think is a really handsome looking front end. But when they revealed the refresh with this one, people really hated it, and I liked it from the jump.
I can kind of see why. If you look real hard or real quick, maybe, I don't know, one or the other. I get a little Dodge Dart out of it.
You know what? For me, I'll be honest with you. I've never been hugely desirous of a contemporary Camaro because I am a Mopar guy. I mean, it's hard for me to look further than Mopar, but this is the first one that attracted my eye enough to make.
You didn't like it when they revealed it in Transformers in 07?
No. I didn't
really.
No,
everybody liked that car.
See, I was just mad about that because they made the Mustang the bad guy. They made Barricade.
Barricade was awesome.
Yeah, but
Dodge hit it so far out of the park at the same time with the Challenger. The Challenger design was the best of the three, and it wasn't even on my radar because
it was better than the Mustang. I'll give you that, Rob. But the retro
Mustang,
05 to 09. It was the Challenger was better than that.
But then the 09 to the whatever it was, 12.
The 10 to 14.
Ooh, that one's fantastic. One of my favorite Mustangs.
Yeah, we talked about it. Its appearance in the movie Drive with
that's right,
Gosling, which I did Rob's movie review of. That was just the perfect car for that movie, you know. In Shelby form, like the GT 500 from that era. I wish I had snapped one up.
Yeah, those were great.
Yeah.
But hey, we're talking about Camaros here, Rob.
Okay, let's get to it.
So are we gonna have our conversation on the air about 1SS versus 2SS and why?
Yeah. So 2SS because it's the top trim level for before you get to the supercharged version, ZL1.
Okay.
Correct. Just like the Scat Pack 392 is the top tier non-SRT product, and the Mach 1 is the top tier non-Shelby Mustang.
Exactly.
Also, we should be considering price. If you look at the price of the 2SS, it's right in there with what the Scat Pack and the Mach 1
That's a good point.
A little bit lower than the Mach 1. The Mach 1 seems to be a little bit above everybody else price-wise.
Yeah, well, but we talked about that.
Yeah.
It's like not exact. It's a limited edition.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's collectible is up for debate. But anyways, that
Right.
so we got to go with the manual because the other two were manual,
Okay.
and just because
Well, no,
it's freaking manual.
And because I never learned to drive automatic. So.
I don't know what to do with my left leg.
All right.
I like that white, man.
We're not even in colors, and it gave us a new color. And that white, you're not wrong there.
Oh,
That's
sharp.
All right, so we're gonna go into colors. So there's Summit White.
Can I make 2 suggestions?
Yeah.
I
up?
love Crush on this car, but we built an orange Scat.
Yeah, and I love Shock.
Let's look at orange.
Shot.
Damn, it's the right color orange, man.
It's cool. I'm telling, but put Shock yellow on there, and woo,
man. I'm gonna say this about Shock.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm gonna say this about Shock. This picture looks like ass. It looks good in person.
Oh, bro, it's so much more vibrant in person. It's like highlighter yellow.
Yeah, this looks like
this looks like just a regular yellow.
This looks it looks like you drank a bunch of lemon lime Gatorade and then puked.
Vomited.
Like
oh my God, how dare you guys?
They need to do GM, if you're listening to me, this is a great color. Get a better representation of it, please.
Yeah.
But
you know what?
I would not buy a car in this color. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now.
You have to really decide that you want this color. And what I mean by that is it's very easy to be blown away by a color like this and just snap one up. And then 2 years into ownership, wake up one morning and you're like, why the F did I buy?
That's what they make wraps for.
A glow yellow car. You can get tired of a color like this.
Oh, for sure. And that's why one day, if these are collectible ever, these will be worth quite a bit more because it's a pretty substantial upcharge for the color, and they're probably not going to sell very many of them.
It's only $400. I mean, the upcharge at both Ford and Dodge were $500 for the premium colors.
Yeah, I know, but look at Wild Cherry Tint Coat's $500.
Yeah, but
that's the only one.
Here's the thing. Let's think about that.
Can I make a one more point about color before we decide upon it? Vinny, our buddy Sean Davis, has I think I told you he drives a ZL1.
Right.
Forget what year it is. I think it's a 19. He'll be able to tell you. But his car is red hot.
Okay.
And you might just want to click on it because in person.
No, you cannot go wrong with a red Camaro, man. Any generation, you put red on a Camaro, it's going to look good.
But that's what CHP thinks too.
That's true.
But we did
Shock.
We did a high impact color for the Dodge. We also had to select the gray color for the Mach. So I say we go with Shock because they don't have Hyper Blue, which is my favorite color for the 6th gen Camaro. Hey, and they did away with it in 2021, apparently.
This is your This episode is your RodCAST because we're doing.
Thanks, guys.
Now I do want to point out too, the Wild Cherry tint coat. I would never get a tinted clear car because if you get any scratches, have fun.
Oh, is that what's meant by a tint coat? It's a red car with a red clear coat.
Yeah, it's well, I say I wouldn't do it, but I believe that the triple yellow had a bit of that too.
Doesn't it just I don't think if I've seen a Wild Cherry tint coat in person, I wouldn't even know.
See, but like I would not, there's no way in hell I would pay $500 for this. That looks like such a basic color. That looks like every other like SUV on the road. Like it's like, I don't know.
Here's my question. The idea of a clear coat is to add depth to the color of a car. If you tint it, doesn't it start to look like a single stage paint job?
No, it gives it insane depth. It makes it look like crystal. Yeah, I mean it's gorgeous like when they do it right. But I know like on the Mustangs, I think it was laser red was the was the tint. Good luck paint matching that. Oh, because that.
Yeah.
I'm
that
surprised they
tint is
don't
cool.
have a. I'm surprised they don't have a green color. Anyways,
They
I mean,
used to.
You could
They used to
argue
have a
this
very
is
nice
part of a green.
actually.
yeah.
If it were me, just my last 2 cents. I mean, I know we built a Go Mango Scat Pack, but if you're going to ask me what this car looks best in, I would go Crush. I love orange muscle cars. I just think it's the coolest color there is for.
I mean, you know what my vote is, right? Like,
Ooh, that satin steel
Right.
gray metallic
Yeah.
looks pretty good.
Yeah.
but I'm saying, you know my vote. Like,
Yeah. So Greg and I again share a brain, but again, let's defer to
yeah, the shock for sure.
because it's his.
You guys done? Are
Yeah,
you
well,
guys
I do
done?
have- I do have one last question
we move
about the
on?
shop.
Just
So
kidding.
is there the factory option for the high vis gray stripe down the side, you know, like a safety vest? Like, can we?
They
Wow.
at first I thought you were being serious, and then I listened to what you said again.
You know what, guys?
Oh, look,
It's
hood
just on-
stripes. Look, can we get it?
Yeah.
They've got 80 different stripes, and you know what? I said it about the Scat Pack, and I'll say it again. If
No,
you're
the
building
hood. Look at that. The hood is cool.
No, what?
guys, if you're building a car in shock orange, it doesn't need stripes. It's already so over the top.
I disagree. I think this adds to it.
you
But
like
I will say this. But listen, yes, I do. But listen, all of this, none of these stripe packages. I mean, you can go through all of them and show the people like what they are, but none of them matter because when you select the 1LE option, you get a satin hood.
You get a
Okay.
satin hood.
But look, they did.
Which
they
is
did
the
my
best
joke.
out of all those options.
I know it's white, not high vis, but they did my joke for me.
You know
Oh
what,
yeah,
Greg?
that does look like a safety vest you'd put on like a disadvantaged child.
Ooh,
That looks cool. That
Yeah,
I like that.
I don't know.
Guys,
Watch, you'll see when you select the 1LE package.
I know, but I have something to say about the 1LE, so we haven't gotten
What's that?
it yet. No, I'm not. I'm gonna wait until we get to the 1LE.
That it's the greatest value out of all 3 of these vehicles that we've talked about.
Wait a minute. We need to talk about these rally stripes because they look so good, but they don't put them on the roof.
No, it's a lot of them are hood only.
Yeah, a trunk, but yeah. I would probably just black out the hood, to be honest. That'd be cool.
Carbon fiber hood.
I'd go sand stripe entirely. And if you're going shock yellow, just leave it alone.
Why?
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it looks great.
Apparently the silver rally stripes are
there's nothing wrong
Bluetooth.
with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It looks great. I'm just not a big stripe guy to begin with. So
No, I get that. I don't like stickers and stuff. And some people love stickers on their cars. I like a clean canvas, as it were.
All right. So the next option is the 1LE hash mark, which is going to require the package. Do we want to just go through the rest of the graphics before we select the
past that?
Okay.
Let's just
the next page is where you select or don't select 1LE. So
yeah. So I mean, look, I'm not.
I like that body stripe. I don't think it's bad. That's cool.
So wait, can I get this in silver and that center stripe in silver? And then
I think you could, but like I said, like once you select, just like the Mach package, like it makes you can't add stuff to it. I don't think, as far as the appearance goes.
Ooh, I don't think I would ever drive that, but that color combo does kind of look.
Oh, blue and yellow. That's cool. That's like real 90s, like Nickelodeon.
Yeah. Nick, Nickelodeon. Okay, I'll stop. Oh yeah, there's my silver ice metallic. I could totally make the construction worker car.
All right. Well, so let's go past all these stripes and stuff. People know what they look like.
Yeah, we're sticking with black, obviously, for the interior, right?
Is there?
Yeah,
is there
of course.
none?
But
can I take the graphics off so we don't?
Once you select 1LE, it'll go away.
Okay.
Yeah, of course, black. But I think that'll change when you select 1LE too.
You don't like the medium ash gray?
Hey, it's fine, but dude, always bet on black.
Like with a color like shock or an orange or stuff, nothing offsets it better than black. It's just the way God intended it,
Ooh, the white. I thought I was like already ready to make like 90s tuner jokes about the white interior. ceramic white, but that doesn't look bad at all to me. I mean, I couldn't keep it clean.
On a good color, exterior, that might look pretty nice. I wouldn't do it.
I like the shock, man. I saw one driving on the 15 the other day, and it looked good.
Oh yeah, dude! In person, there were a couple of them at LS Fest, man. They're gorgeous. I just
were there too, Greg.
Yeah, I drove out. I took a day trip out there.
Cool.
They made him park his Mustang outside though.
Yeah. They could not. I was on the very end of the row. They could not have parked me further.
No, you didn't come back to your car and find graffiti all over.
No.
What was it on his car in National Lampoon's Vacation? Honky lips. They sprayed the honky lips on the side.
What?
You never saw your National Lampoon's Vacation?
Wait, Vegas Vacation?
No, the first one, the original, where they go to Wally World.
It's been so long.
All right, stop.
Here, here we go. Stop.
Time out.
Don't click that just yet, Greg.
Time out. Undo that.
All right, I'll cancel.
I'm going to ask Vinny a question.
What's up?
In your estimation, with the 1LE package, what is the core element you're buying there? What is the most important thing?
Oh, the most important? So it's the suspension and handling. Correct. And brake and so it's just correct. Basically that.
Can we just throw this out here real quick? The value? This is nuts. $7,000 for all this. I think this is the cheapest performance pack.
Yeah, but I think Rob is about to go into what's afforded with that $7,000.
Gotcha.
What I don't like about the 1LE package is that once you select it for the core thing that you're after, which Vinny is correct, is the suspension, it then locks you into a whole host of equipment that you might not necessarily like. I don't need a wicker bill on the back of my car. I want one. I don't need a large black splitter on the front to run into curbs and stuff like that.
Yeah, but you're also the guy who didn't want the wide body. So this goes back to that same thing, right?
Hold on. Can we pause real quick?
Styling. So you get both.
But here's the thing. I'm on Team Vinny with this one.
Okay.
I'm
just playing devil's advocate because you can actually build this car by just selecting the Magneto Hetero Habita Hubita suspension.
Agnoride suspension.
Right. I mean, you can get the core element out of the 1LE package without going at 1LE. Do you know?
Of course you can. But you also don't get those styling accoutrements that you just glossed over so callously.
Well, you got to like these wheels, for example.
I do.
You don't. I like them. 5 bolts and they're off. You don't have to.
No. I do like these wheels better than the factory SS wheels. These to me look upgraded. People often put them on older 5th gen Camaros because they look pretty good. They have like a concave kind of shape. Also, you get the black vinyl hood wrap, which probably wouldn't cost very much if you just did it yourself. You get the wicker bill, which I think, and the front chin spoiler, which totally adds an aggressive element of styling to this car. You get the Recaros on the interior, which you don't get in anything else besides the ZL1, which is a big thing. I mean, a set of Recaros is going to set you back at least $2,000 just if you're buying some on the regular market.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that for $7,000 you're getting a shit ton of great goodies. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying that aesthetically, there are some things that are part of this package that I personally wouldn't want. Like, I don't like a blacked out hood on this car. And I wish you could get the 1LE package and decide for yourself whether you want to black out the hood. I don't like the idea that it's suddenly mandatory to get the good suspension. You have to have a wicker bill. You have to have the black hood. You have to have these wheels. Like, why did they not give you some latitude, some choice?
That's fair, but the same can be said about the Mach 1 when we did that one, right? You're locked into certain elements. And Greg didn't like those wheels on the Mach 1, and I really loved them.
I mean, I would even say, again, this is only because I like what's in this package, that this is the least obtrusive one we've seen. Because Ford, for some reason, a lot of the option packages I don't like. Like, they have one thing I like, one thing I like strongly don't like.
Right.
And it's not,
and with Ford, you're always blocked out. Like, if you want the what's on the GT Premium, Greg, it's called the performance package or the level.
Yeah.
There's like a level 2.
Yeah, there's the performance pack, the PP1 and the PP2.
Yeah, and you might really want the suspension and stuff that offers you, but you really don't want the mandatory wheel that comes, with that package, like black wheels, which I happen not to be a fan of. These wheels, Vinny, I'll agree with you, are pretty cool. I mean, I love graphite wheels. That's my favorite.
There's a couple of points that I want to look at here. So you do get a little bit more than what we were just initially talking about, right? It's not just the MagneRide and some like aesthetic stuff. Yeah. You also get the
Brembos, which are also available as a standalone.
Yeah, and you get Brembos anyways on a regular Camaro. So to me, that's not really I think that's not that much of an upgrade, but
they're red. They're red 1LE calipers.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're into that, I guess I don't care. I like black calipers, but what you do get is that's important is a different rear axle ratio. So you get 285 rear gears instead of what comes in the
that's an awfully unaggressive.
Excuse me. You're right. That's only for the auto. But I believe that the 1LE, if you select a manual, it does come with a different rear gear.
Do you know what the ratio is?
I'm gonna Google it real quick.
Yeah, it's 3. If it's in the 2s, I gotta complain right there, because I mean, you're in the you with the wide body Scat Pack, you get, I think it's a 309 with a manual.
That's right, and I think you might get 320 something. I can't remember, but another area where the Mustang and the Challenger outperform this 1LE is in tread width. You look at, you get some Goodyear Eagle F1s, which are fantastic tires, but you have first of all, you don't have a square setup. You have a 285/30 R20 up front and a 305/30 R20 in the rear. I'd prefer a square setup, even if it was 285 and 285. But on the Scat Pack Widebody, you get a 305 square, which is much better
all around. And I prefer, just because you brought it up, I have when I got my Challenger, they came with the Goodyear Eagle F1 supercar tires, and I must say I was impressed with them, and I like them a lot better than P0 Pirellis and stuff like that. I mean, it's not up there with like a Michelin Pilot Cup,
which you get on the Mustang, and those are probably, if I had the money, those are the tires that I would buy.
Yeah, but as far as like a set of tires you're gonna destroy within a year of doing burnouts, within a year of buying the car, the Goodyears are a solid tire. Really.
Okay.
So we can put away our pitchforks.
Yeah, exactly.
The manual comes with a 373.
This time I'm not full of piss and vinegar this time, because
I'm just saying.
No, you have some valid points. You do.
Okay. Well, I'm saying it's a 373 rear gear. We don't have to go start an email campaign. Yeah,
I knew it.
Yeah, it's good. We're good. Calm.
That's a respectable ratio.
Yes, it is. That is quite respectable.
Something that I really love about the 6th gen that I don't know is a feature on the Challenger or the Mustang is the auto rev match function. Are you guys familiar with this?
It is on the Mustang.
It is on the Challenger. You have to blip your own throttle on my Challenger.
Which is that's not so bad, but it is a function that I really enjoyed when I had a 6th gen.
I've been driving sticks since I was 17 years old, and if by now I didn't know how to rev match,
I feel like
that is what a Challenger owner would say.
I worried that it might get in the way of somebody who was quite a legit aggressive driver.
You can turn it off.
I think you can defeat it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can disable it. It's not really that intrusive. Like, and
No, that's
to
a really, all kidding aside, that's a great feature because, when you're in stop and go traffic, matching your revs when you're downshifting from second to first and up to second and to third and then down to second again because you're stuck on the 101, crawling.
That's what
nice,
synchros are for, boys.
Yeah. No, it's something that I think is cool. Is it 100% necessary? No, because in my 5th gen, I blipped the throttle myself, just like you, Rob, and it's not a problem. I'm a seasoned manual driver. I just think it's a cool function. That's all.
No, I agree with you. And then the other thing that we should mention is you get an eLSD with this package, which I don't think is available as a standalone option. So.
I'm not sold. I need to look a little more into their version of the eLSD. But if it's like some of, I believe Nissan's, their LSD is basically just controlling different brake calipers.
But I mean, it has the effect of a traditional mechanical LSD, right? Where
it only takes power away. It only takes power away.
It doesn't add power to the wheel that's
Correct.
not slipping.
It brakes on the slipping wheel.
Oh,
interesting.
Well, that's basically just traction control, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
but again, I don't know if that's Chevrolet's strategy. I just know on
that's a good question, Greg. We'll have to look into that. How long ago was that?
The when I had it?
The Nissan, yeah.
14. I think they still do it. I mean, I think that's their strategy. That's their.
This is a performance car. What kind of Nissan was that?
Oh, it was a freaking Rogue. It was not.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm thinking from GM's perspective.
All I'm saying is I would like to get a rundown on how it works. What it does.
Let's select the 1LE because I feel like we're not giving this Camaro a fair shake. Come on now.
Okay, so we got to get rid of our stripes.
Tires,
got to get rid of the wheels,
and the seats.
Okay,
and that's it.
That's cool. Ooh, but look at that price.
Yeah, but look at that car.
Even though I'm not a black hood guy, that looks pretty mean and menacing.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah. I'm going to say something that's going to piss you off.
If we went back and selected Crush, that would look dynamite on Crush.
Or even white. White would look fantastic too.
White would. I'm going to say something that's going to piss you off, Vinny.
What?
Not digging the wheels. I like the shape. I just wish they weren't split spoke.
I like them. I like that they're concave. I like everything about the design. Yeah.
I like that they're graphite and they're not black. That's the biggest.
They sure do look black.
I'm
really
in these photos, tired of black wheels. I think it's played out. It was novel for a while, and now it's just, cars need contrast. And when everything's blacked out, it's just there's no contrast.
Go back to that front 3/4, Greg. Oh yeah, baby. That one.
I got to admit, that looks pretty sexy.
I mean, like I said,
you can kiss that front splitter goodbye after about a week, Vinny.
No way. I have one on mine, and it's not that bad.
I have one on mine, and I realized that it doesn't hit even the really high curbs.
Oh, mine does. Mine's low.
I got to admit. I got to make a confession, boys. I've gone through 2 SRT spoilers.
I was literally, Rob, I was going to make your argument for you because I know my limitations now where I can, how close to that cinder block I can get because I've broken 2.
Yeah, I really I was in Riverside one day and I was going to the Mission Inn for lunch with a friend and there were nose-in parking spots on whatever that street is, and the road it sloped towards the curb, and I pulled in and I pulled the handbrake and I got out, went and had lunch, forgot getting back to the car after lunch that I had to have gas on when I put the handbrake down, and because I didn't have the car in gear and I had the clutch.
What year is yours, Rob?
12.
Does that have anti-roll hill or whatever?
It does, but that only works
Rearward, yeah.
Where the rearward when you're slipping the clutch. And as soon as I dropped the handbrake, the car just lurched into the curb, and I heard the worst cracking sound. And I was like, oh shit. And I got out and I needed a whole new spoiler, which meant the whole fascia had to come off to install, and it was just a nightmare.
That makes me ill to hear that story.
Yeah, it was about a $1,500 boo-boo right there. So
okay, guys. So so I guess there's a wild cherry package. Oh, okay. So these are just other packages, but they're not the 1LE. So
I don't think you can combine them with 1LE.
No. Okay. So all right, you can select all that.
I'm sorry. What is a knee pad?
What's that?
Oh, so on the door,
no, it's on the center console, right?
No, it's an interior. Okay.
Yeah. So Greg, if you look at the if you look at the interior, there's two pads. Okay. Yeah, there's one right there on the center console next to that vent, and there's one on the door where your knee would go.
I thought maybe it was some kind of matching fashion accessory, like, if you're a wrestler or
or roller derby queen.
Yeah, you got some matching knee pads, like rock on.
Okay. So suspension package is another $2,000 for the one. Go back up.
Wait,
no, that's included.
That's included. Gotcha.
That's what I was saying to you. You could actually.
Oh, the 1LE spec suspension package. Interesting. Well, kudos to you, Chevrolet.
You can get that alone, which is the core element of the 1LE package, and not get the wicker bill and the blacked out hood and these wheels. So that was my point.
But you also admitted that you kind of liked when we got all those things.
Well, now having seen it, yeah, I mean, that thing, who's going to sit here and tell you that doesn't look badass? I mean, that looks badass. There's no question about it. So I'm not going to argue.
Okay, so but then what other options can we select here? Nothing? Is that it?
Because as soon as you select any of these, it'll tell you need to remove 1LE.
Well, I just made your point for you, Rob.
Yeah, click select here, and it'll say you have to remove. Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, look, it wants to pull the entire one.
Yeah, so that's all you can get. So it's like, all right. Well, okay. Well, then we can skip ahead to where we compare, the value, I guess.
Real quick.
No,
what about like the Camaro logos? Because am I wrong in that this does not have a single Camaro, the word Camaro anywhere on it?
I think maybe on the trunk. No, it just says SS.
So I'm saying, like
it says it on the steering wheel. Yeah, you can, I guess.
It's gonna tell you got to.
Nope. Oh, dang! It's because it's stealth, dude.
So wait,
people aren't gonna know what you're driving.
Talking about in terms of once you lock yourself into a 1LE, you can't.
You are really locked in.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's what I was trying to tell you guys.
Now, where's my all-weather or my all-season tire package?
No, you can't have that.
I think there is one because you've got the 305s and 285s.
Well, see if you can add the security option with the lug nuts and stuff.
That you might be able to add.
Because we did add it. Did we add it to the other one?
Yeah.
We added it to the Mustang, but not the Challenger, right? Or do I have it backwards?
Greg, click select.
Yeah, it let me put the wheel locks on.
Okay.
All right.
$315 for some wheel locks.
Yeah, but it's the only option we can select, Greg.
But you can also go to Jegs and get those same wheel locks for $40.
Jegs nothing. You can go to AutoZone.
Yeah, AutoZone, right.
You know what? It doesn't come with a purchase order from Chevrolet Performance. All right, guys.
That's true.
All right, so
we're on your Windows sticker. So
yeah, let's go to exterior.
Now there's a ton of interior. We have to skip all these wheels, but
my goodness.
Well, let's just look at what.
There's a lot of wheel options. Look at those.
There's great stuff here, but you can't have any of them because
I'm not seeing anything that I would qualify as
I wouldn't change. Yeah, I wouldn't change anything if I'm being honest. Like what they've done, what they've locked you into, that's what I would select.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm not seeing anything on this list that would be great, and I think the 1LE wheels are the best.
Hey, if you click, see where it says limited slip diff,
Oh,
Where
yeah.
does it say that?
There's a question. There's an info button next
Where
to
am I
it.
missing this?
Below the wheels. Wait, under paddle shift.
Oh,
launch
there you go.
Oh,
It's already
EL.
been selected. Yeah.
Click
All right.
on that and let's see. Driver
Ooh.
See it, but it says to determine proper amount of engagement. So there's e-lockers. There are electronic diffs. So this may literally be like some kind of
true.
almost like a cone
LFD.
engagement.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I'm real curious now.
I would imagine it would be, an actual locker. It wouldn't be what you were describing before.
Well, but that's the thing. Like, think about Ford. Ford, you get a gear style when you upgrade, but it's still mechanical. It's not electronic.
Yeah, but they used a similar technology on the ZL1.
I'm saying this could be really cool. Like, I really want to dig into this more. This could be really cool.
Definitely.
But
I'm just
this
saying,
is something I don't
if
get
you
to
think
see
about
in
it,
engine labs.
I mean, the
Have all this
ZL1.
information ready for the next time the three of us are together. All right, great.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
Battery protection package. I need that. I've got a
Can you select launch control though?
Wait,
No.
this doesn't have launch
Oh,
control?
but only on the automatic. Excuse me. Sorry.
What? Whoa, hold on. This is kind of a big deal. You can't get launch control.
No, which is odd because
Ford has it.
on a Hellcat. You can get launch control with the 6-speed.
I have it.
But that's a Hellcat though.
Well, I have it on my EcoBoost, dude. Like, it's something that
They know that you're never going to use it.
They're doing you a favor.
They wanted to make you feel
sway
good.
bars? Can we add sway bars, or is that gonna?
Let's see. Nope.
Wow.
Let's see if we can get a strut
Lowering.
tower brace.
You better be able to add it. All right, fine,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be. Well, no, we want it in black, not in silver. We want silver.
Oh god.
Oh.
Oh no, you don't, Mr. Greg Acosta.
Oh.
Vinny Acosta, I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna lie.
Acosta and Greg Acosta, is that correct?
Acosta.
Acosta.
He's Costa.
Costa.
My inner like
You guys crack
import
me up.
dude likes strut tower.
That's annoying. Like, why could you have?
Yeah, why can't you get a black one?
Well, I mean, are they going to stop you from buying a can of paint at Home Depot?
No, but
I'm gonna paint my new car.
As Vinny would say, it's not on your window sticker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true.
Can you add the intake?
Whoa, look at this real quick. We mentioned you can get the brakes by themselves.
Yes.
It's a $3,200 upgrade.
Yeah, which is why the 1LE package is the best deal in show business, man. I mean, you got
It's a fantastic value.
Wow.
You got the Recaros, which are $2,000 seats, the Brembos, which are $3,200, the ELSD, the suspension package, all of that stuff for $7 grand. I mean, that's great.
Wait, here's a quick question. Okay,
You just can't customize any of it.
There's 6 piston fronts and 2 piston rears.
No. 6 piston front, 4 piston rear.
They're two separate options.
That's what I'm saying. Is this?
Yeah, you can't get 6 piston all around. Why would you need?
Well, no. This is 4 piston rear. I just wondered if.
Yeah, and then you add the.
So the regular SS comes with 4 in the front and 4 in the rear.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Wait, but then why would you upgrade to the 4 in the rear?
Because you get 6 in the front.
6 in the front, 4 in the rear.
But I'm saying, would you have to choose both of these if you didn't have the 1LE package?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we don't know how much that costs because it doesn't say.
And it won't let you do it without.
Yeah. Well, here's the front and rear for 37.
Well, select that air intake.
Air intake.
Here we go.
Oh, cold air intake.
All right. You can't get that on either one of the other ones.
Get it. You can get it.
I mean, yeah, you can. Is a dealer installed option.
Hey, Vinny, are we getting black exhaust tips or stick with the stainless?
Carbon fiber.
I'd say if it'll let us, I'd try to get black.
Would you look at the price of the carbon fiber tip? You gotta be kidding me, man.
Hey, it's
Oh,
only
they got to make up that cost difference somewhere.
you can't get either one of them.
That is
Okay.
ridiculous. All right.
Dude, okay, what's worse?
Rob's so offended by the cost of those
What's
carbon
worse,
fiber
650 for some carbon fiber tips or 480 for some spray painted steel tips?
I mean, either one is just a rip off.
Well, okay, let us not forget
Okay, it looks pretty
the
good.
like $500 lug nuts that Dodger's trying to sell us.
They weren't $500.
They were up there. They were pretty expensive for lug nuts.
They got 150.
Hey, they're going to sell us
All right.
another set of wheel locks.
All right.
You can't have those with the 1LE though. No, I'm not kidding. If you select the silver ones, it says you have to remove the 1LE.
All right. So, we get a tire inflator kit instead of a spare tire.
Right. I think all three of them have that.
Yeah. Well, there's actually
well, maybe the Challenger comes with like 3 or 4 spare tires because it's so big.
Thanks. I got a full-size spare in mine, and I took it out of the trunk, and it's been sitting in my garage since the day I bought the car. Because, I mean, it adds 65 pounds or something.
Rob, that you're not supposed to remove that. That's a ballast.
You're gonna upset the trim of your boat.
So be it. I removed like a child from my car, like in terms of weight,
Cool.
So
it's all in good fun, everyone. I don't really think the Challenger's a boat.
So wait a minute. Can you get a bigger
front fascia extension?
So is it bigger than the 1LE?
I think
that's such a dumb thing to call it, a front fascia extension.
Different shape. That's clear. And I'll bet you it bumps you out of the 1LE.
Oh, wait, because look, here's the splitter, and that's what the 1LE has, right?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Well, we already have it. I'm glad you like it. Yeah.
Where are the little yellow bumpers?
Oh, come on, man. Seriously, Vinny. Come
Dude,
on.
Can we get a set of Mopar ones and paint them?
Mark Trossel made them pink, so people would be, taking them off. They're no longer.
He made them pink for breast cancer awareness. So that's what the community tells me.
You guys you're harsh, man, today. You're such a nice guy, and you guys.
I know we're not even picking on the Mustang. It picks on itself.
Oh man, Vinny, jeez.
When they're not picking on crowds, I mean,
you are full of piss and vinegar today.
You guys are coming for my Camaro, man. I don't take too kindly.
Who is coming at the Camaro?
The only comment I made is I hate the fact that the 1LE package locks you into so much stuff. That's not,
no, I can't. I can't argue with that. I think you're right.
But that's not a Chevrolet thing. I wish all of the packages were more flexible across the board.
Yeah,
but in order to be cost effective, especially in this case, we're talking about 7,000.
This is an enthusiast vehicle. This isn't an SUV. This isn't a daily driver. This is an enthusiast vehicle. We should be able to have a little bit more.
You should be able to get the 1LE and pick the wheels of your choice, is all I'm saying. Even though we all agree these are the best looking wheels, if you wanted aluminum colored wheels, you should be able to pick that from the factory. Okay,
well then, but we need to be critical of all three of them because
everybody. I said
everybody's guilty of that, right? Problem. But some, like Dodge does offer more flexibility, right? But we also have to acknowledge that the Mach was a little bit different because that's kind of like a special edition.
But it was still pretty representative of Ford.
Yeah, and then
Ford is just bad as pretty much as this is. Of the three, Dodge gives you the most latitude.
That's true, but you still can't so they have multiple options, right? But you can't get a regular 392 Scat Pack that's not wide body and still get 305 square tires. You have to get the wide body
from the factory, correct?
But that's a fit,
even though they will fit.
But yeah,
even though they will fit, if you don't get the wide body, the car comes stock with 275s all around, and that there is.
And I might be splitting hairs here to fit my argument, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, I got a question for you guys. Greg, I noticed you were hovering over sunroof. I have a sunroof on my car. I like having sunroofs, even though I don't open them a lot. I slide the shade back a lot, though. Look at the cool roof line of our 1LE 2SS right now. Do you know if we select sunroof, which I guess all three of us enjoy, you don't get that cool beveled area on the roof.
Oh, you're so right. And it changes the look of the car so much.
It does. It makes it more pedestrian.
I will vote that I would not get.
I wouldn't get one. You are 110% right about that, Rob. That's crazy.
You know what the roof line looks like with a sunroof?
It looks like a Mustang.
Challenger.
No.
The roof line. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they added such a cool aerodynamic looking divot.
No, I like that little divot.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here looking at different angles to try to see if I could get over it, because that's the one thing I wish you could get on a Mustang.
No, that totally changes the look of the car.
Yep.
Wow.
I would stick with non-sunroof in this occasion so that we could have that cool roof line.
Yeah,
you called it, man. You called it.
It does.
That's such a cool element. Like,
yeah, I was building a ZL1 about a month ago, and the same thing happens on the ZL1. If you put a sunroof in, you don't get that bevel in the
go to the previous view, Greg. There you go. Like, you can really see it right there. That little notch in the roof is so cool.
Almost Viper-esque, early Viper.
Yeah.
Yeah. You nailed it, Greg.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I would.
Rob, I could have lived my whole life and not known that. Thanks, dude.
I noticed it the very last time I built one of these online. But
it's like one of those photos where you can't see it, and then all of a sudden you see it, and then you can't unsee it.
It's like the arrow in the FedEx logo.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Exactly.
And now everybody at home is now gonna know there's an arrow in the FedEx logo.
We did a community service. People could have ordered their cars not knowing it changes the roof, and now.
Okay, man. So no sunroof. Oh, what a bummer.
That does suck.
Bummer, but come on, man. If it's between a sunroof and that cool roof line, I'm going for that roof line.
What if they did 3 separate little sunroofs?
Dude, I'm sorry. There's enough technology today that they could make a formed piece of glass that would probably cost $2,000.
Greg, they probably could. The point is they don't.
Yeah.
So I'm sticking no sunroof.
Yeah, definitely no sunroof.
Yeah.
Definitely no. Okay.
All right.
So you can get
we
body
can't
color
pick from any of these spoilers because it bumps you out of one.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. You can't get a body color ZL1 spoiler?
No.
Try it.
You can buy it aftermarket.
Oh.
That's
not that I want body color.
That was my main argument, was you go 1LE and suddenly you're very limited into how you can customize the aesthetics of your car.
I think that's a 100% valid point to make, right? Especially if you're shopping and you're in the market for any 3 of these vehicles. But if I know that I want a Camaro, right, and more specifically, I know I want a 1LE because of the value of this package, I look at the aesthetic portion of it as a big selling point. I like the way that it looks. I wouldn't change a thing. I know that there are many people who are in the same boat as you, who are like, oh man, I really wish I could have, I wish I could cherry pick from the 1LE, but.
All right, does anybody notice that I went to pick the ZL1 carbon fiber wing, and it's not making me remove anything? It's just making me add?
Not yet.
Look.
Choose one and click select and watch what it says. Now click select. No, select. Yeah.
Oh, damn it. I thought I had a workaround. Okay, well, let's go in the land of make believe real quick. If you could get it, would you?
No. That looks like a Honda Civic Fast and the Furious car. I hate that.
I know it serves a function like on the ZL1, but
I disagree.
Vinny,
it's a no from me, dog.
Let me ask you a question, Vinny. If you were more interested in a quarter mile as opposed to road racing, would you then avoid the 1LE package? Because the 1LE is really for
Oh,
curves.
for sure. Yeah. If I was trying to go, if I wanted to buy one of these cars to go drag racing, I'd buy the base model.
Well, you gotta let's specify what level of drag racing. If we're just talking about like testing tunes, or are we talking about like to build an actual class car?
Well, either one, because the 1LE, even though it gives you
You're wasting a bunch of money.
You're wasting a bunch of money, and you're adding a whole bunch of weight. Let's not forget that.
I would, if I was like just into like weekend, trips to the track, I'd probably still go with it. If I was going to build a car, I'd be trying to get a body in white or whatever their version of whatever Chevrolet's version of that program is.
The LT one, I believe it's called. But no, if I'm buying the 1LE, it's because I wanted a canyon carving, car that can handle. I might do the occasional track day, go out to Willow Springs or something like that, right? I'm not building a purpose-built race car or anything, but I want something that can handle the curves.
Yeah,
it's definitely not a drag race car.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you do, stay away from the ground effects package. It's horrible side skirts and
they're so ugly.
Now I gotta see
they're
them.
So ugly.
Well, you can. I think you can add it with the 1LE, but it's very not even.
They're really ugly.
Yeah.
They had the same thing on the 5th gen. They were ugly then too.
Yeah.
No, I mean, honestly, okay, to answer your question further, Rob, like if I'm going drag racing, I'm not even going to consider the Mustang or the Camaro, if I'm being completely honest. Mm-hmm. Dodge has that locked, I mean, that's their bread and butter. But if I want to go around a turn.
Yeah.
So I got my logo. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Where? Oh, yeah, you changed it. That's cool. I like that better.
Now, do we want to add a red outline?
Oh, the fender badge. So it says Camaro instead of
just having the little logo.
It had a little badge, like the red, white, and blue badge.
Yeah. How about they give you the option right now, if Greg, if you turn to the profile of the opposite side of the car, you'll see that our gas cap is just your standard. Go one more, Greg.
I like the black one.
Yeah, you can actually from the factory substitute. There's carbon.
There you go. Ooh,
black. Yeah. I think I actually like the black insert better than the.
Oh yeah.
Here, let's look at the big pictures. So
that's racy.
That's carbon fiber. I'm okay. Let's see.
I'll just go with black. That's racy as heck.
Go with plain black, safe.
Well, yeah, that's pretty.
$60.
You can get it with the red. It might look good with the calipers.
So sure.
I'm not so great. Like I'm not so matchy, but maybe.
Oh no!
Oh,
and that's not even.
You can't get it with shock yellow.
This is bullshit. They really want you to have the car that they want you to have.
But you can get the silver one though.
You can get the silver one and the black one, but not the red, huh?
You're getting too excited, Rob. Don't be trying to select red. All right.
It just all goes into my initial argument, man. 1LE and you're screwed on the aesthetics of the car.
But you will admit that you get a lot in that package, right? If you're not picky about the way it looks.
If you're talking about value for the money, there's no package amongst the Mustang, Challenger, or Camaro that's better than the 1LE package.
And
now
we both get to be right.
1LE, and then you add your spoilers and hood wraps separately.
Okay, well, if you're into accessorizing, don't get the 1LE. If you want to go fast around a corner, get the 1LE.
So now here's the thing for you poor dudes in California, we gotta click it.
Yeah, I've let's just say I don't own any of those. Hint, hint. I don't.
It ruins it, man.
Yeah,
Jesus.
None of my cars happen to been bequeathed with a front license plate bracket, and I've never.
Yeah, maybe we'll just leave that off there, Greg. Yeah.
And let's just say I jinxed myself, and the next time I go out in any of my cars, I'm bound to get a ticket now.
Well, I will say
it is a fix-it ticket.
Yeah, so I did not have a front plate in California for the last Well, actually, you know what? I only think my first car that I only had for 10 months was the only one that ever had a front.
I've driven my Challenger for a decade with no front plate and never.
Yeah.
But
I have
you
some
know what?
that have
I
it,
gotta
some
say,
don't.
I never got pulled over in that car for anything else. So maybe if I had gotten pulled over for speeding, they'd also slap the front license plate.
Do you have dark tint on your windows, Rob?
I have factory tint, which is the rear is pretty dark, but the side windows are,
Yeah, like 35% or something.
something just standard.
All right, guys, let's move on to the interior because we're taking forever to get through this one. But which
There's
is funny
nothing-
because
there's
it has
nothing
like
to
the
change.
the least amount of options you can select.
Do we want the infotainment system? Let's
Yeah.
see.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I don't buy cars without navs anymore, man. And especially it's only $495
Yeah.
on the Chevy. On the Challenger, it's like $1,200, $1,400 for nav. So
You can get red seatbelts.
nah,
Yeah.
those type
And you
of
can,
options
but-
make me angry. I hate
I gotta see this. Like this is. Oh,
if you're gonna road race this thing, you're gonna put in like a 4 or 6 point.
Yeah.
So
And at least a roll bar.
yeah.
Okay, all the sport pedals. I don't care about any of that crap.
You know what? I like the sport pedals.
I want a picture of.
It's a waste of money, but they look cool. They're
Yeah.
stainless steel.
Yeah, I like them.
I mean, you're talking about
250.
you have 2 points of contact, 2 more points of contact in your butt. I mean, your feet are going to be touching them all the time. And if you get the rubber ones, they wear out. The aluminum ones
Never wear out.
There's rubber in them, is there not?
There might be
but
little dots like on a Challenger. There's stainless pedals with little black rubber dots on it, but
okay.
Illuminated
So illuminated
footwells.
footwells.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of dig
I think it's cool. Yeah, I mean it's cool. I don't know
Is
if I
it
pay
worth
$400
$400?
for it.
can
But
you change the color though, like on a Mustang, or is it that blue? I don't know.
we're not going to the disco, Rob.
That's not a Rolling Stone song. Who sang going to a go everybody?
What's your favorite Stone song, dude?
Oh, I always loved Sympathy for the Devil. I always loved Honky Tonk Woman.
Fantastic. I mean, you can't go wrong picking any of their major hits.
Jumpin' Jack Flash, like any from that, like Beggar's Banquet to Sticky Fingers era.
For sure.
To me, when they had Mick Taylor on guitar, like after Brian Jones died, the band became 10 times better when Mick Taylor joined on lead guitar. He's
I think the 80s era Stones don't get like the respect that they deserve.
But I'm not a huge
on.
Ronnie Wood fan. I mean, I respect him, but like for me, the best lineup of the Rolling Stones was with Mick Taylor.
I totally agree, but come on, Waiting on a Friend.
No, that's all great, but look at the albums they put out with Mick Taylor. I mean, they put out
Sticky Fingers alone trumps everything for me.
And then you got Exile on Main Street for crying out loud. I mean, it's like.
But what about Tattoo You?
That was Ronnie Wood, right?
I believe so.
Ronnie
Yeah.
Wood by then, yeah. I think.
All right, sorry, guys.
Came in on Some Girls. So everything after Some Girls was Ronnie Wood. All right, we're going way off on a
So,
tangent.
do you see what's up?
Okay, so data and video recorder.
Do we okay, first off,
You really need the factory one,
Tin-
or can you just hook your
tinfoil hat.
GoPro up?
that's what I'm saying. Tinfoil hat time. Do
saying.
we really want this from the factory?
Yeah, but look, track
Depends
mode
on whether
records
Vinny
video,
wants it.
audio, and
It depends on whether Vinny
no,
needs his window sticker.
let's vote on it. I would probably, I mean, ultimately, if I'm purchasing this car and like I want the best value, I would say no because it's $1,300 and it's not a necessity. I do think it's kind of cool though.
I love how suddenly Vinny is into democracy, and he called a vote.
But can we point out that half this stuff comes standard on every Mustang?
and I'd rather just slap my little GoPro that's sitting in the next room on the dash. I don't care about this stuff, to be honest.
But no, but look, okay, so yes, the GoPro will probably do most of these functions, but the track mode records video, audio,
yeah, you know what?
including speed, RPM, G-force, track maps, lap times. That's pretty cool.
Guess who gets all of that for free when they buy a car? Challenger owners, yay!
You don't get track maps and lap times. Well, yeah, you do get lap times. You get
quarter-mile timers, 0 to 60 timers, lateral G timers. All of that is built.
But that also speaks to who the market is, right? So quarter-mile times. This one you get lap times.
Yeah, you get all of that on the Uconnect on the Challenger.
All I'm gonna say.
On anything with a Hemi in it, an RT, a Scat Pack, and the Hellcat models, you get all of that.
Lap times, really? Why would they do that to themselves?
While you can probably get this cheaper in the aftermarket.
Good thing you're there and I'm here. You know?
But
I know you're a tough guy and you were in the service and all of that. The rage building up inside me pretty much.
No, you know I love Challengers, Rob. I'm just giving you a hard time.
But
I don't know. It's up to you guys. I don't care about
this. This is where I side with Vinny and his on the window sticker thing. Like,
really,
if you want this, I think it might be worth a little bit more that you're going to pay over an aftermarket solution.
That's a lot more, though. $1,300 is a lot of money.
Think about
to Rob's point. I bet you can do everything right here with your iPhone.
Okay, all right. I'm just
all right. Skip it.
All right, so cancel that out. Okay. Will remote start? Well, can you even do that on a stick?
No, not on a manual.
Okay. Carbon fiber style shift knob.
Please, come on. Look.
Wait. What's this? What's the style? Does that mean it's not real?
It's not real.
Literally, the top of your shifter, they replace a stainless steel.
Yeah, that's not
for only $95. What a value!
Low price of $95.
Here's the thing: Ford Performance makes a real carbon fiber shift ball for my car, and I really want to do it. I can't stomach $95 for a shift knob.
No. And how about, what's coming next on this build, the carbon fiber instrument panel trim? It's so expensive they don't even put the price there.
Listen, you guys can count me out for all this crap.
What are you talking about? It saves you $4,700.
Yeah, but you lose the 1L.
Yeah, I would.
What a bargain!
Like, all this stuff doesn't. It's not why I'm buying this car.
No,
I don't know. I'm a sucker for some carbon fiber. I'm not gonna lie.
The knee pads you can get black suede, which might be kind of cool.
Well, that's one thing that I really like about the 1LE, right? So you get if you look, so that's that would then
well cropped photo.
No, but
no, it's not.
Okay, so I love Alcantara and I like suede. So the 1LE you get a Alcantara wrapped steering wheel and shift knob and shift boot.
Not knee pads.
But I guess not knee pads, which is kind of weird.
Do you want your knee pads? I don't give two craps. Do you want?
I probably would, just to match. I mean, how much do they cost?
$350.
That's a lot.
It's done. It's done. It's clicked. We're good.
Okay. I mean, I'm not gonna cry over it. But also the seats, right? Like, so you get those Recaros, and they have Alcantara on them, which I really like.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I just had a thought. This is a California car. Shorts get worn. Is that going to get nasty?
He didn't. Oh, you don't get.
I'm talking about the knee pad. Is that going to get nasty? Because you're going to have bare skin on that.
You have air conditioning, man.
I don't mean sweaty. I just mean dead skin cells rubbing your knee against it.
I don't know, man. I told you the other day that I don't think a grown man should wear shorts.
Yeah, I get you on that.
Only kids.
I don't, and that's the thing. I don't wear pants. Like I'm. If
I know you. You're a big fan of shorts, but you get a pass because you live in Arizona. So
I don't think a grown man should wear shorts.
All right, so we're keeping it. It's good.
All right. Next.
That's what interior.
I think
detailing
that's
is for.
basically the end of the build because these
Yeah,
accessories are junk. It's
Yeah,
kind
just
of like
skipped it.
cargo
No.
stuff and
Yeah.
Well, cargo management. I mean, don't we need a bike rack for?
They did have 2 selections under performance. What's the deal there?
Oh, let me close it.
performance.
Ooh, you
Yeah,
can
but
get
we
another
already got
exhaust.
the dual mode.
You get so you get the dual mode, but do you get the dual exhaust tips? Because it does look a lot. It does look a lot better.
You get quad tips on the one LE. I thought.
Let's see if it'll let us select it.
Look at the. It's gonna.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, deselect that, Greg, and see what it looks like without it.
Yeah, flip the view around to the tail.
My computer. There we go. Okay.
Okay, so you get that.
It doesn't change.
And it looks exactly the same.
I think you would have to remove. Obviously, you're gonna have to remove the dual mode.
So it'll let us buy both of them.
I don't know. I'd say just remove both of them, or click the info on both of them.
I'd remove both of them because the dual mode. I guarantee you, the active exhaust sounds.
Yeah, this is not.
Yeah, all the active exhaust sounds so good. Yeah.
This is an aftermarket Chevrolet performance brand.
Yeah. Nah, no thanks.
So electronics, did we?
Headphones.
Oh, you can get headphones? What?
Chevy headphones, and it's on your window sticker. Count me. Count me in, boy.
They can pretty much just anything. Just put it on the window sticker, and I'm in.
There we go. We got to get your license plate frame.
No.
Chevrolet.
No. Right now, dude, we're at 54 grand for this car.
I was gonna wait, but I noticed that several minutes ago that we are now the virtual owners of the most expensive car of the three, I think, right?
What? No, the most expensive?
No, the I'm pretty sure the Mach 1 was more expensive.
Yeah, the Mach 1 was like almost 60.
Yeah, this is in the middle.
Out of here, really?
Yeah,
60 grand.
The Mach 1,
and then the Challenger was.
You can get a Hellcat for 60 grand, a base Hellcat for 60.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Our Mach 1 was pretty well optioned.
Yeah, but I don't care how well optioned it is. It's a 485 horsepower V8 versus the 717 horsepower supercharged.
But
V8.
That's the thing. Like, if this was
That's
daily
what
driver,
Dodge has done, man. Dodge has really made it difficult for anybody else if they're not making that power, like to even have a dog in the fight. Like, you can't even argue that, right? Like, it's like 717 horsepower. It's like,
I got to be honest with you. I mean, I know Greg loves Mustangs and I like Mustangs too, but there's no way you could price, that you could convince me to go for a Mach 1 when I could have a base Hellcat for the same money.
Well, I agree.
That doesn't make sense.
But here's the thing. If we're going to be 100% like legit about this, we should probably go and rebuild the Mustang as a Performance Pack 2, not as a Mach 1.
You want to have me back next week? And
but I mean, seriously, with the way that the direction we've gone with this, because when we built the Mach 1, we weren't building it to anything. We were just building a Mach 1.
Yeah, like, we weren't anticipating doing this. We were just doing it.
I think, to be fair, and I say this knowing that having no clue as to what it would do price wise. I think it should be a GT Performance Pack 2 that we build.
That's right.
What were you putting on the Mach 1 that you said,
it was pretty well optioned?
Well, because
like what sort of options?
All the handling packages, the performance pack, upgrade.
X out of this thing here, Greg.
I'm just saying, aren't we going to get a trailer hitch for?
No, dude. What? So we can make it them all equal weight to the Challenger. You're right. Yeah, we should.
Well, no, because you can only add 110 pounds to it.
First,
all right, we're gonna need
argues
more.
with me and makes fun of me that I took the full-size spare tire and wheel out of the car to make it lighter, and then he hits me with, "You got to put the hitch on to make it weigh this." I get it both ways.
What the heck? What's going on here, Greg? Are you showing us your audio library?
No.
Oh, that must be mine.
I didn't know it.
I'm like, I'm showing you
interesting.
There we go.
You guys notice there's no gas guzzler penalty like there is on the Challenger.
I'm sure there is. Like, can we pull up
but
the?
they just don't show it to you.
Yeah, can we pull up the actual window sticker? Actually, you know what? If we can,
I can't. How come I can't see your screen anymore, Greg?
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. There we go. I got it.
I can see.
Okay, but all right. So we're at 54 for this one. Where was the Challenger, Rob?
We were in the mid 40s, I think, like 40.
What?
No, we
Really?
were in the 50s.
No, we were like, I think we were like 52.
Were we?
Hold on.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go back and look.
I'll pull it
through
up
the
real
tape
quick.
And
Well, okay, so this one's pretty much middle of the road, right? Not as expensive as the Mustang, a little bit more expensive than the Challenger. I think depending on your end goals, what you want to do with the car, why you want to own it, this one's probably, you can make a case that this one's the best value as far as like the package. But again, that's dependent on what you want the car for.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you said it before, if you want to have fun in a straight line for a quarter mile, I think all of us would argue that there's no better deal than a 392 Challenger. And if you want to carve up canyon roads, as you said, Vinny, here's your winner. And if you want, a little bit more luxury and a special edition, quote unquote, model, then clearly the Mach is, the Mach 1 is your car. And I mean, that's cool that all three manufacturers are offering you a little something different at the same price point. I think that's the biggest thing we establish out of this is each car's got its pros and cons, but you can get them nicely optioned out for roughly the same.
Okay.
Okay.
So I have an important question though.
Hold on.
Yeah. An important question. Go ahead, Greg.
We have to build the Performance Pack 2 now. I need you guys to guess. I want a dollar amount difference between what you think the Camaro is and what you think the Challenger is. A dollar amount difference.
2,000 something.
What's the question again?
What do you think the dollar amount difference between the two right now, the Camaro and the Challenger?
Well, I was way off because I didn't remember that we were in the 50s on that car.
Okay, so, I mean, just
between the Challenger and this, yeah, I'm gonna go with Vinny. I'll say like a couple grand.
For some reason, I remember it being like 52 grand, but how much was it, Greg?
$36.
What?
$36.
Which one's more expensive?
Which is more?
The Challenger.
Wow.
$36.
Wow.
Oh, that's crazy.
And I can't believe it. I honestly can't believe that. I don't remember it being that
that's
close.
Pretty crazy.
That's why we have
it's that damn wide body package though.
No, dude, that's wild. Okay, so then that leads into my next question for you guys. Rob, I think I probably already know your answer, but okay, so now that we know, and Greg, I understand that we got to do the Performance Pack too, because it's not equal, but now that we know the price for each one of them, we know what you're getting in each package, or rather we've built each one, and so we know what we were getting. Rob, would you still pick the Challenger, and Greg, would you pick the Mustang?
Yes.
I got to be honest, and I would say to you that, I mean, for what you're getting in terms of package, I mean, it's hard to beat this Camaro, to be honest with you, with a 1LE package. I mean, you're getting handling that you're not, I know you're not going to get on the Challenger, and I would assume the Mach 1 couldn't road hold with this car either. So, I mean, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about value for your money, of the three cars we've built, yeah, I gotta say Camaro is king. If you want to go really, really fast in a straight line and you love, retro aesthetics, you would instantly pick the Dodge. And I think the Mustang's kind of a blend of the two. The Mustang. Sorry, my cat is butting my. I mean, what do you think, Greg? I mean, it's pretty hard to beat a 1LE package that gives you $10,000 worth of toys for $7,000, right?
Well, I just pulled up the Mach 1 video to see what, and looking at the real numbers, it's hard to stick with Mach 1 over a 1LE.
Because we were at what, like almost 60, right? Like 58 something?
61,855.
Woo!
That's how much?
And when
681.
And when Rob says you can, when he says that you can get a Hellcat for less than that, substantially less than that, I mean, come on, dude.
More horsepower almost.
I mean, the thing is, I want to know now whether we're paying for the Mach 1 badge.
I think that's definitely what it is.
I mean,
because they touted that as like a really big deal.
But I'm not gonna lie. I mean, if you came to me and you're like, you can have any of these cars for free for a year, from the factory, I'm going with the Mach 1. I want the Mach 1 more than any of them. But if I have
likewise, being a Mopar guy, I'd want the Challenger, the Scat Pack, but I mean, this is a better car.
Yeah. So from a logical standpoint, I think,
I don't know about better car. It's definitely better value.
That's what I meant to say. Yeah. I left the word value out of it.
The value is there. Like, that's
agreed. And then obviously there are the emotional reasons why we would pick something opposite. But that's,
I mean, we each have our brand loyalty, which accounts for a lot. Everything that goes with that. Like Vinny grew up with GM and Greg grew up with Ford, and I grew up with Mopar, and that means a lot to me. It wouldn't exclude me from buying this car that we just built, but it would weigh into my decision a lot.
For sure.
So,
well, this has been a lot of fun, you guys. I think we need to revisit that, like Greg was talking about with that performance pack. Everybody at home, drop us a comment in the comment section below and let us know where you stand with the three that we've built so far. What's the best value? Which one would you pick and why? And let us know if you like us doing these builds, because we have a lot of fun doing them, and we want to get your thoughts on it.
And hey, I think we really should rebuild that Mach 1, since I wasn't there for it. It'll give me an opportunity to really see what you guys did. And we can build it more in line, with the performance that we were.
For sure, we won't do the Mach 1 because there is some inflated pricing there. I think, to Greg's point, we'll just do the performance pack GT.
GT Premium, yeah. Okay,
and so that'll be a more accurate comparison.
Well, and that's the thing we should kind of determine too, because we were leather interior with the Mopar, and this had a leather interior, but
just had those Recaros that were
on the Challenger. We could have opted for Alcantara or leather at the same price. So
the only reason I bring this up is in the Mustang, if we don't go premium, I believe we can still build a non-premium performance pack too.
But you can put Recaros in the GT Premium. Don't they offer it, or is that
because
Shelby's?
Then we would be doing exactly what Rob was saying that we could have done with this car. So we have to start with the same starting point with the Mustang.
I mean, fair enough. You can up option it. It's just okay, because I mean that's a valid option, right? You start with a lower model, but then you just select the things that you want. But to Rob's point, like we could have done that with this car. Well, but the performance package is like the 1LE package, right?
Right.
I mean, because if we're going like the full tilt package, then the Mach 1 package is everything, and we just eat the price.
Yeah,
I feel like we can swing this. We could cheat the Mustang. That's why I'm trying to like.
Okay,
we'll have to sort that out.
I've built premium GTs like 100 times, so I'm pretty familiar. With what we can do with it, and I'd have some pretty strong opinions on it, like I did here, and with the Scat Pack as well. What was my other thought? I don't know. It flew out of my head. I'm tired.
We won't shortchange you, Rob. And we've kept you on long enough. I know it's late where you're at because it's the same place I'm at. And so we'll wrap things up here. This was a lot of fun. Again, you guys, check out Rob, all of his articles on streetmusclemag.com. Rob, thank you so much for being here, man.
Hey, man, thank you for having me. I love it. Love doing this show. So let me know when we're going to build that GT Premium. All right?
For sure.
Be good, boys. I'll see you next time.
Oftentimes, when we talk about performance fasteners, we talk about things like diameter and bolt material. However, the devil's in the details, as they say, and ARP's attention to the detail is what sets them apart in the marketplace. ARP's rolled threads use compressive force to form the threads, which not only makes a stronger thread and bolt, but also smoother threads over the easier to mass produce cut threads. Additionally, ARP doesn't form the threads until every other step of manufacturing and heat treating is complete in order to ensure the strongest threads possible in a fastener. This all results in a fastener that exceeds aerospace specifications for both strength and dimensional tolerances. To learn more about ARP's manufacturing techniques, you can check out the articles on Street Muscle Magazine or visit their site at arp-bolts.com.
Well, there you have it, Greg. I don't know if that's like the end-all, be-all answer or whatever. I know which one I would choose. It sounds like and Rob knows. And I think that's going to be like pretty much par for the course for all auto enthusiasts, right? Like everybody's going to have their pick for different reasons. But
yeah, I really want to redo the Mustang now. I'm a little bit worried in the interest of honesty. We could conceivably have some confirmation bias now. At least I could, because I know where the target is.
Yeah, so you could tailor your build. You're gonna be watching that dollar sign tick. Like maybe I don't want these leather seats.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I want to be fair about it, but I also know I would never start with the premium Mustang personally.
Right,
but that's not fair. That's
the
not
other
a fair
thing.
Comparison.
The other thing too that happened today, right? Like, so we were the Challenger and the Camaro ended up being like within $30 of each other, but the Mustang or the Camaro could have conceivably been much less if I hadn't forced you guys to go along with me and pick shock yellow. That's $400, right?
That's
$400. That's a substantial.
Honestly, but as far as the performance colors go, $400 is not a big deal.
No, it's not. It's not. But
I don't think that's fair, because like on the Mustang, when I was looking in 2018, I was going to pay the $500 for triple yellow.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's not a lot of money, but my point is that like they were really close, but we could have done exactly what you're saying, right? I could have been like, oh no, I want white, and I could have said no, I don't want any of these options. Yeah.
But the thing is, we had no idea they were going to be that close. Now we have like a target.
That was crazy. That was really crazy.
Yeah. I'm genuinely curious to see where the non-Mach 1 Performance Pack 2 comes in.
Me too, man. Me too. I'm curious to see if the Mustang ends up being a better value. I doubt it, because you get a lot with that 1LE package.
Yeah. I don't know that the Mustang's going to win the value competition, but if it can come in close, it would still have my vote.
Well, dude, the other two, they're within $30 of each other. So if the Mustang can get close, yeah.
Here's one thing that neither one of those have that I know the Mustang will have.
What's that?
And that's the rear differential cooler.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, I mean,
okay.
See, well, I'm already laying the groundwork for it to be okay.
Yeah. Well, let's save it for that episode. Yeah, we don't want to give away too much. And this episode has gone on long enough. So as we wrap things up, I just want to take a moment to thank our title sponsor, Lucas Oil. For those of you who are looking for any type of lubricant, go check out lucasoil.com. And I'd like to also thank the rest of our sponsors, right? So we got Performance Distributors, ProCharger, ARP, Liqui Moly, Silver Sport Transmissions, Holley Performance Brands, Optima, and Performance Online. If you guys liked what you saw today, give us a like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, check us out on Facebook, head over to streetmusclemag.com, check out enginelabs.com, And yeah, just leave us a comment in the comment section, please. It helps us out a lot when we're tailoring our content, and we like doing these videos for you guys. So we'll see you next time, noon every Friday, YouTube and Facebook. Peace out.